Hello and welcome to American Heron Wargaming. Welcome to Season 2, Part 2 of Legend of the Nuka Slugger, a narrative campaign run using the Fallout Wasteland Warfare game system. Today's scenario is played on a 2x2 board with 3 objective markers. One in the top right corner, and the other 2 are at a black distance away along each board edge. Today the Sluggers team is on defense. Each of those markers needs to be activated for the attacking team to win, and we just have to stop them from doing that. For reasons which will be obvious fairly shortly, there are also 2 radioactive barrels placed on the board as well. They have to be at least yellow distance away from the center or an objective marker. At the beginning of a model's activation, if it's within orange of one of these barrels, it has to roll a black die, and any damage that comes up is suffered as radiation damage.
"These ghouls have been giving Jimmy's gang a problem,"
says the Slugger.
"and they're getting us the parts we need, so this is how we're scratching that debt. They're gonna hit the ghoulie settlement, and we gotta stop them from calling in backup."
Rushing from the settlement, we have a regular ghoul with a pipe revolver, Arlen Glass with a pipe wrench, and Oswald the Outrageous in his magician's costume and carrying the Sword of Wonders. To activate the objective markers requires a successful expertise test, so Arlen is the main focus for that with his 7 intelligence, but Oswald wouldn't be far off with his value of 6. The Slugger's force is also 200 caps. The Slugger himself is just a veteran raider with the Big Leagues perk, armored pads, a baseball cap, and a wasteland outfit, armed with a baseball bat and a baseball grenade. Can you tell he likes baseball? Since the end of Season 1, he's been joined by the Nuka-Girl, who is also wearing a wasteland outfit and is carrying the Thirst Zapper Cola and a baseball bat. The Ghoul repair crew sets up at a red distance from the lower left-hand corner. The Slugger and Nuka-Girl set up in the middle.
"Just walk away," belts the Slugger. "Nobody's gotta get hurt if yous don't head for those generators."
And we are off for turn 1. With fewer models on the table, the Slugger's team gets the advantage. The Slugger readies, but does not activate, wanting to see what sort of play the ghouls try.
"I'll show you smooth skins a trick or two,"
retorts Oswald as he rushes up the board. He's just barely in range to get off his radiation burst ability at the end of the turn, but fails to roll any of the bottles needed to trigger it. With the situation fully clarified, the Nuka-Girl starts off with a nice hit from the Thirst Zapper Cola, which rolls for 3 damage. However, the magician's costume that Oswald is wearing gives him a permanent +1 strong armor bonus against damage from humans, so that knocks 1 off and he only takes 2. Since the Thirst Zapper Cola is also slow firing, the Nuka-Girl can't shoot it again, so she moves into melee with Oswald. Activating next, the Slugger also moseys into melee. He can't charge because he doesn't have line of sight, so no bonus effect die for this attack. He does connect with a bat, but with 1 base damage and nothing extra rolled, it gets absorbed by Oswald's strong armor. Even the bonus green die for outnumbering doesn't help. Arlen is up next and randomly picks the southernmost objective as his first play. He double moves and stays out of sight. The generic ghoul is playing bodyguard, or body ghouled, if you'll indulge me. So she moves up once and then takes a prepare action. And that's the end of turn 1. There's a melee in the middle and some sneaking happening in the south. Then it's on to turn 2. Wanting to press the advantage, which he retained by having fewer models on the field, the Slugger goes first. His first swat is an unfortunate crit fail. His second is a critical hit. A man of extremes, I guess. It would be 3 damage, but with the strong armor it's knocked down to 2. Arlen goes next for the ghouls and almost makes it to the generator, but not quite. Nuka-Girl is up next, and she tries to use the Thirst Zapper Cola in melee, but falls short due to the penalty for attacking with a ranged weapon in melee. I realize in hindsight that I could have used a luck token here to try to make it a hit, but I didn't think about it at the time. Her second attempt is with the baseball bat, but that one is a much worse miss. Oswald is up next, and his first swing at the Nuka Slugger is a crit fail. They're getting contagious. His second swing is just a regular failure. The radiation burst effect does go off, giving 1 rad damage to the Nuka-Girl. The Slugger has strong armor tokens from the armored pads, so I think that absorbs the damage. At least that's how I played it. Needing to catch up in order to be an effective guard, the generic ghoul double moves to be behind Arlen. And that's a wrap on turn 2. On to turn 3. The Slugger starts up at bat again, and crit fails again, but at least this time he gets a prepare token out of it. His second swat is a critical hit, repeating the pattern from last turn. This time, however, he only gets 1 extra damage on the die, so only 1 goes through. Oswald is at 5 damage out of his 9 hit points, over half now. Oswald tries to strike back, but his first swing is parried by a baseball bat. His second one is also knocked aside to no effect. His melee score is 5, which is really not that bad. Just a real unfortunate streak of bad luck. He's going to need to pull something out of that hat to turn this around. Unfortunately for him, the radiation burst doesn't actually trigger off of a blast result. The Slugger takes his reaction swat, and he chips one more in. Unfortunately, I forgot to photograph that. Nuka-Girl is up next, and this time she lands the hit with the pistol in melee. With 1 extra damage rolled, that gets 2 more through. Oswald has just 1 left. Then she uses the luck token to roll for a bonus critical, and it's good. So with the hit from earlier, the crit meter is fully charged. "Alright, Slugger, you've got this one handled," says Nuka-Girl. "I'm going to head them off before the others can muck up our payday." She disengages and heads towards the objective. Arlen's turn consists of moving into contact with the generator, but then failing to start it. The body Gould is able to wrap around the ruined building and is able to just barely draw a bead on Nuka-Girl. However, she flubs her shot, even at point-blank range. Which wraps up turn 3. Oswald is on his last legs, and Arlen is having a bad time starting the generator. To start off turn 4, the Slugger lives up to Nuka-Girl's expectations and drops the final point of damage onto Oswald. The outrageous ghoul drops. I left him on the board, though, to act like another radiation barrel, as glowing one corpses are still pretty dangerous. Then the Slugger moved up to jam up the works for anyone going towards the northeast objective. This time around, Arlen is actually able to get the generator started. Rather than head towards the angry maniac with a bat, though, he opts to cut back toward the center field to maybe skirt around to the objective on the opposite side of the board. Nuka-Girl moves to intercept, and drops a huge 4 damage shot onto Arlen. She also gets an action point to prepare. And apparently I had forgotten about my first hit earlier in the game, because those crit tokens were there to represent her crit meter being full. The body Gould moves up, but can't get an unobstructed shot on Nuka-Girl. She fires anyway, and hits with a crit. Nuka-Girl's armor fails her, and she's about to take 2 damage, but she uses her once-a-game ability to test agility and negate all damage from a single attack. She critically succeeds and escapes unscathed. Which wraps up turn 4, not 3. With an even model count now, the ghouls get the advantage, and the body Gould takes a pair of shots at Nuka-Girl. The first one is a clean miss, and the other one is a hit, but she gets to block 1 damage on armor, taking only 1. And then she spends a luck point to flip luck and ends up negating that damage too. It pays to be lucky, that's for sure. After neither of these attacks does she spend her reaction though, because she's waiting for Arlen. The Slugger isn't too keen on having his partner in crime get shot at, so he moves up and charges into the body Gould to tie her up in melee. While he had the distance to charge in this turn, he had to spend 1 action moving first to get line of sight. Arlen backtracks again, but ending his first move out of line of sight means that Nuka-Girl can't hit him with her reaction shot. However, his second move is just barely in range of the Thirst Zapper Cola, so Nuka-Girl unloads the crit, netting only 2 damage. But that's enough. It does drop Arlen, but still, you'd expect a crit to be a bit punchier. On her own turn, the Nuka-Cola girl charges into the body Gould and absolutely whiffs her melee attack. But then I remember that one of the reasons that Arlen had moved down to that spot was to be right next to the radiation barrel for some healing, potentially. So I did the roll for that, and determined that he should have actually healed 1 HP, which means that he should still be standing up with 1 HP left. I decided not to roll all the way back and play it again, but to just take that penalty from my side to smooth it over. So he gets to stand back up with 1 HP. Which ends turn 5. Arlen was lost, but now back again, and the body Ghoul is about to take a beating. Or she would be if anyone on my team could roll for shit. With an even model count, advantage swings back to the Slugger's team, and he tries to use that charge bonus from last turn, but completely flubs it. Then he moves over to Arlen to tie him up in melee, or at least get a parting shot if he decides to move. The body Gould moves into the Slugger to free up Arlen to move, but catches a critical hit in the back of the head from Nuka-Girl, which knocks out 3 damage, half her health. Also, since the baseball bat only has a crit value of 2, the crit meter for that weapon is now full. The body Gould's attack with the improvised weapon does hit, but the Slugger's strong armor negates the damage. Untethered and freakishly fast, the Nuka-Girl charges past everyone to get in contact with Arlen for a critical swat. Taking a bonus black die for her charge, she gets 3 damage into the Ghoul Repairman, which brings him down again, for real this time. And that closes turn 6. With only 1 Ghoul left on the field with only half health remaining, it's not looking good for them. As the only model left on that side of the field, she decides to run for the objective and hope for lots of failed rolls. "You can't stop the signal," she yells. The Slugger takes a parting swat, but isn't quite quick enough to land it. Shame too, because with 3 damage rolled that would have taken her out right then and there. Her second move almost gets her to the generator, but not quite. Nuka-Girl's up first and is actually just short of Thirst Zapper Cola range. So she moves up and takes a shot, hitting and dropping the ghoul to just 1 HP left. Just for kicks, she also tries to generate an extra crit point off of that hit, but it doesn't go.
Here comes a fastball special,
taunts the Slugger as he moves up, winds up, and then drills a baseball grenade square into the ghoul's back, dropping her. Which makes this one a win for our heroes. What do you think she meant about the signal, wonders Nuka-Girl.
Who cares, responds the Slugger. I just hope Jimmy's crew got their job done too.
And that's a wrap on the scenario. Seems like even a little armor is better than no armor. Though I did realize after the fact that Oswald and Arlen should both have their own strong armor tokens to start as unique survivors, which might have kept them standing a little bit longer. I also think that requiring all 3 objective points to be activated is a bit rough for the attacker. Not that they even got 2 on, but towards the end I was kind of playing it as if that would have won it for them. Something to think about for the next iteration. But that's it for now. Stay safe out there in the wasteland.